What if the real Yhwach fought Genryusai Yamamoto instead of going to Mugen to meet Aizen? Would Yhwach be able to defeat the head captain in a straight-up battle? Or would he be crushed like his subordinate Royd Lloyd? Thanks to Kubo, we now know that Royd possessed roughly 70 to 80% of Yhwach's true strength, along with 100% of Yhwach's memories. So how will this change things? Stick around, like and subscribe, comment, and let's find out together.
Tite, 仕方ないっすね。挽回。観音開き。紅姫改め。
Having roughly 20 to 30% more spiritual power would make Yhwach superior to Royd. It should grant him stronger defensive and offensive power, including the variations of the Blute. And even if to a small degree, it should more than likely increase his overall speed. Therefore, when faced with Genryusai's Shikai, Yhwach should be able to block the blade with his Blute. And much like Stern Witcher Y the Yourself, he should also be able to parry Genryusai's Shikai with his own sword. As such, a Shikai Yamamoto should not be a problem for the Quincy King. But what happens when the flames immediately disappear and the Millennium General utters the one word that concludes a Shinigami's power? Bankai. Since Royd has 100% of Yhwach's memories and still didn't know Zankanatachi's true abilities, Yhwach would also be ignorant. With Yhwach's memories, he thought that Genryusai's Bankai should simply incinerate whatever it cuts. But it was clear that he did not know its additional abilities when Genryusai asked him, is it the same as it was 1,000 years ago? And to further prove my point, with Genryusai's first Bankai attack, Roy made a comment, he sliced my cloak, but there are no flames. With that said, as far as Yhwach knows, Genryusai's Bankai engulfs whatever it cuts in flames. But like Roy, he should be able to quickly deduce that the flames are sealed in the edge of the sword. This is Zankanatachi East, wherein Genryusai's Bankai blade blows away whatever it cuts without leaving a trace. Now, the Quincies have been observing the Shinigami from the shadows for hundreds of years. This is how they gathered intel on their battle power and how to counter them. Yhwach thought Royd was fast enough and powerful enough to counter Genryusai's Shikai, and that he'd be quick enough to steal his Bankai but not control it. And with Yhwach's memories, Royd didn't think Genryusai's speed would be an issue. So Yhwach, who is likely faster than Royd, should not have any issue with Genryusai's speed, and should be able to evade Zankanatachi East. However, even if Yhwach's blade is 30% stronger than Royd's, it would still be destroyed when faced with Genryusai's Zankanatachi West, which proved capable of vaporizing Royd's blade. Even if it wasn't vaporized, it would still break apart. And sure, Yhwach has the power to simply reconstruct his blade at will, but he would still be incapable of bypassing Genryusai's defense. Zankanatachi West wraps the general in immense spiritual power which burns at 15 million degrees Celsius. Yamaji's spiritual power was so immense that even at a distance, Royd still felt that he was being burned. Had it not been for the Blute, even at a distance, he would have been reduced to ashes. Therefore, for Yhwach, keeping his distance might be the best option. Even if Yhwach chooses to use a Sankt Zwinger, which combines the Quincy's defensive and offensive power, Genryusai has the means to destroy it from beneath by using Zankanatachi's South, Kakajuma no Kushirai's Sojin. This activates the ashes of those whom Genryusai had slain in the past, hardens those ashes into bones, and uses them for defense and offense. Now, while these were quick enough to react to Royd and form a defensive barrier, they would not be enough to stop Yhwach physically, given that even Royd was able to eventually get past them. But that's the least of Yhwach's worries, because this aspect of the Bankai is probably the most troublesome. But why is that? Psychological torture. Genryusai can use this form of the Bankai to psychologically torture Yhwach, as he did to Royd, making his mind unstable. You see, while Yhwach is depicted as a cold, calculating leader, this aspect of the Bankai would affect him as it did Royd, because, you see, Royd doesn't simply copy the memories, but he also copies the very mind of the person. What we saw here through Royd was a reflection of Yhwach's own emotions and mind. This was perhaps the author's best way to depict Yhwach's emotions, by having someone with the Quincy King's mind do something that we didn't think he would do himself. And if Yhwach cannot regain his composure, or if he doesn't find another way to defeat Genryusai's Bankai, it's very likely that he would have fallen to Genryusai's final attack, Zankanatachi North, Tenchi Kaijin, heaven and earth ends in ashes. And if the passive heat of the Bankai was a threat up close, a concentrated rain slash would be devastating, as we saw when Royd was unfortunate enough to have faced this ability. If you haven't grasped the monstrosity that is Genryusai's power, there were instances throughout the fight where Royd, with Yhwach's mind, was terrified of Genryusai's power. Overall, if it really came down to a battle of straight up raw power versus raw power, I believe Genryusai would more than likely win. Even with an ability like Blut and Haben, which extends the Blut beyond Yhwach's own body, something which Roy did not employ in their fight, Genryusai's immense attack power concentration would more than likely disable even that ability. If he is a vaporization level beyond Roy's blade, he's certainly way more than 20 to 30% stronger. And while the Yhwach who fought Ichibei is stronger through absorption, the weaker version which stole Genryusai's power and killed him would more than likely have to resort to tricks. That is, in order to defeat the old man. And by tricks, I don't really mean cheating, since that's what his abilities are, but he'd more than likely require something beyond a direct spirit energy clash given Genryusai's superior attack potency. So what are Yhwach's win conditions? Well, the most obvious would be to steal Genryusai's Bankai. He is quick enough and this would be an automatic win. Being stronger than Royd plus having things like his immense Blut Vein gives Yhwach the power to control Genryusai's Bankai. This could be accomplished through the use of the medallion or through something more advanced like the Sanct Altar. And while Yhwach couldn't own Ichibei's powers, he was able to steal them. The power of Black itself, Ichibei being the head of the Squad Zero, with its members being able to shake entire realms with the use of their power. His second potential win condition would be Oswalin. But this time, instead of empowering his elite Sternrichers, he would grant the power to himself, in hopes that this would close the gap between them. And the third and most certain way to obtain victory, especially if he's ever backed into a corner, would be to activate his true power, the Almighty. There's a reason why Yhwach did not activate the Almighty right away against Ichibei, and it's not because he couldn't activate it. With our current understanding, he could have activated the Almighty ahead of schedule, but at a cost. The power of A, which is Yhwach's Shrift, would forcefully rip the power and lives from the other Sternrichers, which is why Yhwach purposefully kept his eyes shut. According to Hugram, had Yhwach done it, he could have likely taken their lives. So he did point to the fact that Yhwach could have actually done it, but he kept his eyes closed for the sake of the Sternrichers. With that said, this should show you how much of an absolute monster Genryusai Shigekuni actually is. Especially with the additional information that Royd was in fact 70 to 80% of Yhwach's power. Like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification for more videos. Cheers.